The sun beat down on the dusty windows of George's Custom Cycles. The rolling shutter was pulled shut, secured by a heavy chain and lock. Axel and Grendel stood outside, their own bikes gleaming beside them. They had come for custom work. But instead, they found a closed shop. And a community in mourning. An old man from the neighborhood approached, his head low. "They took Mr. George," he mumbled. "Cops said he killed one of their own. But he didn't. He was here with us." Axel's jaw tightened. He placed a call. "Nicola. It's George. They've taken him. Murder charge." George had clawed his way out of the Mafia's shadow, desperate to build a life of honor for his family. A simple, respectable existence. But the system he hoped would protect him saw only the stains of his past. It seems there is no room for redemption in a world that would rather condemn a man for what he was than see the good he is trying to become. This is why the desperate and the forsaken have nowhere left to turn but to the very shadows they fear. Back at the club, the bell above Vitali's tailor and social club didn't chime. The crew was assembled, the air thick with a cold, familiar rage. Nicola listened to Axel's report, his expression granite. The world forgot them, he stated, his voice like ice. But evil did not. Elias ran his fingers through a pile of shattered glass. Everything leaves a spark. Every spark starts a war. He held up a single, sharp shard. This was not broken in a fight. It was shattered with intent. A false flag, to start a fire. The crew mobilized. Vito, the planner, was already deep in the digital underworld. The dead cop, Evans, was internal affairs. He was investigating Sergeant Brock. George was the perfect patsy. His fingers flew across the keyboard. George's workshop sits on land Vargas needs. Frame George, get the land, and eliminate a good cop all at once. Marco, the ghost, melted into the city's shadows. Bella, the fixer, became a comforting presence. She soothed worried families and extracted every crucial detail. "We don't fear death," she said, her voice steel-wrapped in silk. "We fear breaking a promise." Finn, the jackal, slithered into the bars where corruption festered. He heard the whispers. Brock is on the take. Vargas owns the precinct. Nicola pieced it all together. The system has broken. So we will fix it. We deliver the verdict on our terms. The plan was audacious. A strike on two fronts. At the police precinct, Sergeant Brock stood at a podium. "Justice has been served," he declared. Suddenly, the broadcast feed glitched. Brock's own voice filled the room. "Once we plant the gun on the ex-con, the case is closed." The press corps erupted. Brock's face went white. Chaos. Justice by any means. Vito, Finn, and Bella stood by, smiling to see their plan working perfectly. Simultaneously, at Vargas's penthouse, Nicola and Axel walked through the ornate doors. Vargas laughed. "You walk into my house with two men. You are dead now, old man." Axel cracked his knuckles. "We don't run from trouble. We ride into it." Vargas shouted with a victory smile. "Have you planned to call the police?" Nicola stated. "We don't call the police. We call each other." Before a shot could be fired, a new sound drowned out all else. A low rumble grew into a deafening, earth-shaking roar. The street was now flooded with motorcycles. The Iron Devils had arrived. They formed a perfect, impenetrable circle. A wall of leather and muscle. Grendel killed his engine. In the sudden, deafening silence, he looked up. Directly at Vargas's window. and drew a finger slowly across his throat. The game had changed. Vargas's guards hesitated. In that single moment, Marco emerged from the shadows. He moved like lightning, disarming two men before they could blink. "Not all monsters stay in the dark," he whispered. On a live stream, a terrified Vargas confessed to everything. The system was exposed. Brock was arrested. Vargas's empire crumbled. George was free. He stood with Nicola, looking out at the community he'd almost lost. "You hung up your guns," George said, his voice thick with emotion. "But not your souls. Thank you." From down the street, the thunder of engines grew. The iron devils rolled in. "When the engines roar," Axel said with a grim smile, "justice rides." Elias said, "The spark is out. But the fire it started, still burns." As the crew stood together, Vito handed Nicola a burner phone. "It's for you. Anonymous." They said. "The system failed my family." Nicola took the phone, his eyes meeting the determined gazes of his crew. Their work was not over. It had only just begun.